Hi guys, welcome to Bugle Live once again, and this time we have come to you with a corporate presentation. The presentation topic is wonderful and awesome, and as we have already mentioned number of times that in Bugle Live our core motto is growth, learning and empowerment. So for growth, learning and empowerment in a corporate setup, we need a different kind of skills. When we need different kind of skills, there are certain skills which are already present in us and there are certain skills which can be acquired. So when we acquire those skills and imbibe those skills in our efficiency, effectiveness and performance, we call them that we are re-engineering ourselves. So the topic of this particular presentation is inspiring performance through re-engineering the self. And this particular session is a continuous learning and development program, that is CLDP from Bugle Live, and we will bring such programs to you again and again as and when we come to corporate presentation. Now we start, friends, the inspiring performance through re-engineering the self, this presentation. Let's just move on to the next slide. Okay, so what are the presentation prerequisites? What is required for the presentation? I'm highlighting. Please follow as much as possible. So first of all, what you need to do is you have to close your eyes for 1 minute and empty your mind with all kinds of thoughts. Then only you'll be able to absorb this particular presentation. It's going to be wonderful, friends. I'm just telling you. आप करके देखिए ऐसा. मैं दोनों languages का use करूँगा so that it is understood better by all the people, most of the people. So close your eyes for 1 minute. Empty your mind from all the thoughts that are running your mind. Okay. The second point is preserve your understanding and knowledge. Whatever you have learned earlier, preserve it. Just keep it in one folder. Don't touch it. Don't write or overwrite over and above what you have already learned. Open a fresh page and start your learning, a fresh learning from there. So open a new file page in your mind for effective learning. This is the second point which you have to do now. So just focus, take a couple of seconds and just try to open a new folder in which you will save this learning. Third prerequisite is, this is a corporate presentation. So don't take anything personally. Anything that has been talked about during this presentation, don't take it in person to you. This presentation is meant for the enhanced learning towards increasing organizational and personal effectiveness as part of CLDP, that is continuous learning and development program, and in no case intended to make personal or group assessment. We are not going to suggest any kind of assessment here, whether individual or group on performance, but we are just going to tell you that what are those techniques with which you can really re-engineer yourself and in what areas that re-engineering is required. So for a fresh learning, you have to focus on these 3 points. I hope you are now ready to take on with the presentation. Let us understand first that what are the core objectives of any business organization. Any business organization for that matter, wherever you are working or maybe you are running your own business organization, what are the core objectives? So when we are talking about the core objectives, the first and foremost core objective of any organization, commercial organization I'm talking about, is revenue generation and wealth maximization. That's the core, fundamental objective of any business, that you want to increase, enhance the revenue and wealth maximization. And then second objective is profit maximization. So wealth and profit too are different things. Your business may have a turnover of 1,000 crore, but in case if your profit is maybe just 10 crore out of it, so profit is very much less as compared to 1% of 1,000 crore. So not only wealth maximization remains your one objective, but your second most important objective becomes profit maximization. That essentially means that your percentage profit should also increase. Then the third objective for any business organization should be, whether it happens or it doesn't happen, but the third objective for any business organization should be employee welfare and career growth. This third most important objective has been framed based on the fundamental principles that behind the success of any organization, any product, there is a man behind the success. So you have to take good care of the people who are working for the organization. That means employee welfare, and you have to give them a clear-cut career path so that they can depend and rely on the organization and contribute most effectively and efficiently. Then the fourth objective that all the business organizations have in them in common is social and service objectives, because every business that you are conducting or you are dealing with or you're doing or you are working for, basically it has an inbuilt objective of service, societal marketing to what we call normally. Service means social and service objectives. With each and every product that we are marketing, we are doing some kind of a service to the consumers or to the people, right? So that becomes the fourth most important objective, and these are the four objectives which are common for all business enterprises. All individuals and activities are directed towards achieving these objectives. Therefore, a keen desire and ambition for growth must be the top of mind or topmost thought in the minds of greatest asset of the organization, that is its people. So the next process that becomes most important, critical for any business organization is that all the employees of the business must understand the significance and priority of these objectives. People work for tasks, that this is my job, I have to finish this task, this task, this task, but let them understand also that you're finishing the task, how is it contributing to the revenue generation and wealth maximization, profit maximization, and your own growth, your colleagues' growth, and also when it comes to a point that you are serving to the people of the country or people of the world, in case if you are having your products spread over the world. Now, moving forward, there has to be a paradigm shift from being an efficient professional to an expert business enhancer. Dear friends, these two terms are very critical. What we are saying, efficient professional. Long back, we used to discuss about efficiency versus effectiveness. Now, what we are talking about, the two efficient professional to an expert business enhancer. So, looking at the objective that revenue maximization, wealth maximization, profit maximization are key objectives, we need to have people who are efficient professionals, but moreover, these efficient professionals have to have a paradigm shift towards becoming an expert business enhancer, right? In the ever-changing world, the change first happens in the thought of an individual. The only thing constant in this world is change. What we are highlighting here is that first change happens in your thought process. Do you still think that I am an efficient business expert? Then you are wrong. Probably you have to have a paradigm shift in your thought process, and you have to work towards making yourself an expert business enhancer, right? You move on to the next slide, please. So what we said, that the first transformation has to take place in your thinking, in your thought process. Now, the power of thoughts described in this slide in few words: whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. जो सोच सकते हो आप, जो conceive कर सकते हो, वो आप achieve कर सकते हो. This is not just for a saying that we are saying, but this is a fact. This is a natural fact that human mind, whatever it can feel, it can perceive, it can sense, it can do it. So that's the power of thought and power of mind. So we have seen the power of mind, we have seen the power of thought. Now comes the power of faith. It's not only that those things of maximizing wealth, revenue, profit, your own growth, society welfare, it's not only those points, but once those thoughts are created in your mind, the second most important factor which you have to re-engineer in yourself is to understand the power of faith. Once your thoughts are positive, once your thoughts are aligned with the organizational philosophy, you should have faith. There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge. There are no limitations. Mind can think of anything. But if we acknowledge certain limitations that, oh, I cannot do this, I cannot do this, those are the only limitations. So you have to have the power of faith with you. Faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power and action to the impulse of thought. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. There has to be that faith. It's a powerful eternal elixir that gives you strength, that gives you power, that gives you all the positivity to go ahead in full swing and get your job done. And that positivity and that faith is what? That whatever I am thinking, whatever is my thought process, that can be achieved. So that's the faith that you should have in your mind. When we move next, now, who are experts? We are all experts. Who are called experts? Experts are those professionals who have this specialized knowledge, right? So specialized knowledge, now let us understand that how that knowledge has to be utilized in your work. Okay, knowledge, no matter how great it may be, is of but little use in the accumulation of money or generating revenue. Now this is a very bold statement. In this statement, we are saying, or they are saying, that the knowledge, howsoever specialized it may be, howsoever big it may be, but it has been been seen that it's of little use for accumulation of money or generating wealth. What are examples? Most of the professors who are the most learned and knowledgeable people in the universities have but little money. They are not the billionaires. They just work for their salaries and in which they spend their life. So the expert knowledge, despite having tremendous potential, those guys who are professors, we all know in the colleges, we all know that how much wealth they accumulate. Next, specialized knowledge, we talk about value. Specialized knowledge is among the most plentiful and the cheapest form of service which may be had. The meaning is specialized knowledge is the cheapest thing that you can have with little money. You can add titles like name, that you are a postgraduate in any subject, you are having a doctorate degree, you are having a postdoctorate degree in a particular subject. That's called a specialized knowledge. But the value for that is that it is the cheapest to acquire and it has very low return. Consult the payroll of any university and you will come to know that many experts are there, and the value what they are creating and the value what they are getting for themselves, you can understand the phenomena that specialized knowledge has limited value only. You may be highly respected, but in terms of value, in terms of those objectives which we have just talked about, that wealth maximization, profit maximization, maximization of career enhancement of your employees, in those terms if we see, then that specialized knowledge has lesser value. Next, now this knowledge which we are talking about, is it a potential power or kinetic power? We have discussed it in our earlier videos that energy is in potential form and kinetic form. These are physics fundas. But in terms of knowledge also, we have got potential knowledge and we have got kinetic power and potential power of the knowledge. Now this is most important. Knowledge will not attract money unless it is organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action to the definite end of accumulation of money. Knowledge in such case is only a potential power. So what we are saying here is that knowledge will attract money only when it is organized, intelligently put into action, into the practical plans which you have made for enhancing your wealth. And once you apply that knowledge, then only that knowledge would be useful for accumulation of money. And before this, the knowledge remains only a potential power. Once you apply, it becomes a kinetic power and it results into results. Okay. Next, people who knew to apply specialized knowledge. Now we are giving some examples that there are people who knew how to apply that specialized knowledge and they earned wealth, name, fame for them. Thomas Alva Edison had only 3 months of schooling. Can we say that he has the specialized knowledge? He has accumulated a lot of knowledge. Henry Ford, who founded the Ford Foundation, the famous, worldwide famous car, had less than a 6th grade schooling. Bill Gates was a college dropout, and so was Steve Jobs, and so were many more examples which you see. There are countless examples of billionaire entrepreneurs who did not have a proper formal education or degree, but they became billionaires. So that means the knowledge acquired by studying and obtaining a degree is a potential power, but once you apply it to yield certain results for wealth maximization, profit maximization, then only it becomes a kinetic power. Next, thumb rule of specialized knowledge. What I just told you, that knowledge without application is no knowledge and application without results is no application. So the two things are very important. First, application of that knowledge, and the second, results obtained out of that application. Next, but can we say that specialized knowledge is useless? No, not at all. Any form of knowledge that you have gained can never be said useless. We are talking only in relation of accumulating wealth and money, the role of knowledge. Otherwise, all knowledge is good. It's awesome. It's wonderful. But even for accumulation of wealth and money, knowledge is required. A specialized knowledge, a big must and essential. But knowledge is definitely required, which all these people acquired through other people and directed it to the application of business enhancement. So the meaning thereby, what we want to say is that if we are talking about Henry Ford, if we are talking about Bill Gates, if we are talking about Steve Jobs, they didn't possess formal degrees, but then when they created those huge business empires, then definitely they must have acquired that particular knowledge which was required either from other people and then applied that knowledge to achieving their objectives. Next, the need for a shift from efficient professional to an expert business enhancer. Now here we must have understood by now that why there is a need for a shift from being an efficient professional to an expert business enhancer. But because there is no substitute to the specialized knowledge, that is one thing. Today, the whole world is watching that countries like India, China, Russia, America, Pakistan, even for that matter, they are accumulating a lot of weapons, a lot of missile technologies, fighter jet engine technologies and all that. What is that? That is basically essential. That is basically an expert knowledge. But when that expert knowledge is put into action or application, India becomes powerful. For so many years, we were not doing it. So we remained like dependent on other countries. Now we are talking about Atmanirbhar, self-reliant, self-dependent Bharat. And in due course, then we have been asking for the products, that is the fighter jets, along with their technologies. For most of the products now, we are signing contract with other countries like Russia or America. We are signing the contract with the transfer of technology. That means you give us the technology as well. We will also apply that expert knowledge, and after application of that expert knowledge, we will in-house within the country produce those weapons, those products, those fighter jets, those many things. That's why the need for expert business enhancers. Next. And for a typical business organization, 80-20 principle still holds valid. Somewhere in 90s and 2000s, this particular principle came into being, which states that 80% of the business comes through 20% of the customers. That's why there is a need for expert business enhancers. Next. Why expert business enhancers need to enhance their professional business skills? Now, expert business enhancers need to enhance their professional business skills because now the knowledge that they have acquired, they become expert of the subject, they have to apply it. Application, you need to have certain skills. Now, there may be a time, if you like, friends, if you like this particular presentation, if it is of any use to you for your career, for your job, for your entrepreneurship, if you are into an entrepreneurship, then if you comment, we request you to subscribe this particular channel, watch this video till end, and also comment and let us know that what you want, because all these skills will have a separate presentation which we are talking here. We are summarizing here. We can make presentations and give you specifics of each and every of those business skills. Now let us just have a glance here. The expert business enhancers, EBEs, are the most powerful and knowledgeable resource of the organization and represent the company. No doubt about it. Most of the time they have the responsibility to negotiate and close the sales and create corporate brand equity. It's also understood. Next please. Why expert business enhancers need to enhance their professional business skills too? The EBEs, expert business enhancers, have to work in close association and coordination with the marketing and sales teams who would look upon them as the chief knowledge resource. Your organization's marketing and sales teams cannot be technical experts to that extent at which your technical experts are really sitting in the organizations and knowing things. So these technical experts who are there in the organization, sales and marketing teams and other departments would look up to them for expert knowledge in case they fall short of knowledge anywhere. So that's why there is a need for expert business enhancers. The expert business enhancers therefore need to understand the basic needs as well as the psyche of the sales team. Vice versa, those expert technical people also must know that what my sales and marketing guys should understand, what they need to know to sell the products effectively, efficiently. The chain is not, or the cycle is not one way, that only that expert business enhancers, sales and marketing team people need to know about the expert knowledge, but even the expert knowledge holders have got that understanding to set in their mind that they have to provide those key technical points, key technical knowledge to the sales and marketing teams. Okay, next. And slide number 3 for the same, why expert business enhancers need to enhance their professional business skills. There are some professionals such as doctors, engineers, CAs, lawyers or architects, etc., who best represent themselves and their skills. No one else can do it for them. Now what we do, we normally know 3 terms. One is an employee who is doing a job. Then we have an entrepreneur who hires these employees. Then we have people categorized under one head called self-employed people. Now these are the self-employed people, doctors, engineers, CAs, lawyers. So what happens that they represent their skills themselves. No one else can do these things for them. So if they also need to enhance their expert business knowledge, then they have to work and apply that knowledge in their work area themselves. Nobody else or third person would come and do this for them because they are the experts in their field, and that particular field is a self-occupied professional. So they have to do it for themselves. Next. Now the core point, after so much of elaboration, detailed discussions on expert business enhancers the core thing comes here, how to re-engineer the self for inspiring performances. How you will re-engineer yourself. The first thing is that you have to first understand the need. That thought should come in your mind that I have to acquire those skills, and then that thought has to turn into faith that okay, I have to apply this and I have to get wonderful, awesome, inspiring results. So how to do that? That's the most important thing. So first, that to recognize and believe that there is a latent need to re-engineer the self. First thing is that you recognize that there is a need for enhancing performance, for meeting organizational business goals. You have to understand, for achieving personal goals as well. Who doesn't want to grow in life? If you're working for an organization today, you are a grassroots sales level maybe, but tomorrow you want to become an area manager. Under you, there would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people who would be working in different geographical territories. Once you have become an area manager, you want to become a regional manager. You want to become a head office strategy management team part, which we call brand manager or product manager or marketing manager maybe. So all that, growth in your individual objectives also has to come from the same point that you make the organization grow, you make the organization achieve its business goals, and organization has a responsibility for you to achieve your personal goal, right? Thank you. One common goal is success and growth, which organization also wants from you and you also want from the organization. Next. Now we are going to present here 8-step solution for how to re-engineer the self for inspiring performance, right? So the 8-step solutions which we are going to show you and present you, please pay your wholehearted attention here, and then you will come to know that those steps are really, really mandatory and you have to take those 8 steps. But before that, we say that change is inevitable both within and outside. The only thing constant is change, we normally say as a phrase. So change is going to happen in the organization, within the organization, outside the organization, in you, within you, outside you. The change is going to happen. Now what you want to do? You want that change to happen haphazardly in your life, in the life of an organization, or you want to shape that change. That's all about the human endeavors that shape the change for better tomorrow. When change is inevitable, it's going to happen, then probably the best way we can handle it is shape the change. You give a proper shape to the change. Okay? There's a saying which says shape up or ship out. Either come to the shape or ship out means bahar rahiye. Okay, thank you. Next, please. Now, step number 1. We've talked about 8 steps. Step number 1, alleviate the basic fears. I'll go a little faster here because these are very understandable things which I am talking about, but in a structured manner. So, alleviate the basic fears. There are 4 types of basic fears in any of the professionals' mind, life, whatever you can say. Fear of rejection. The biggest fear, we don't go to the client. The client is a hot-tempered person. Maybe doctor is your client. You will say that he's a hot-tempered doctor. He doesn't give you time. He scolds you like anything. So one thing is that fear of rejection. Now I'm talking about business, so I'm just giving you business examples. But this happens very commonly when people love someone but don't propose only for the fear of rejection. But propose you must know. बात आगे कैसे जाएगी? So similarly in organization, if you are into the job of sales and marketing or telemarketing or whichever marketing, direct marketing, then the fear of rejection has to go away. I'll tell you the best way how to achieve this. Fear of criticism. People will criticize you for anything, any damn thing. People can criticize you, right? And third thing is, maybe you didn't meet rejection, you were accepted, maybe you handled criticism also, but then third fear is the fear of failure. क्या होगा अगर मैं फेल हो जाऊंगा तो? I know there are thousands of people who have got wonderful talents, very good talent. Somebody is a very good singer, somebody is a very good sports person, somebody is a very good क्या बोलते हो, हुनरमंद. ऐसी चीजें बना देंगे वो छोटी-छोटी चीजों से जो awesome है, जो nobody can think of even. But then they don't bring all those skills and those knowledge sets into a commercial business activity because of fear of failure. हार गया तो क्या होगा सर? लॉस हो जाएगा. And maybe the last fear, the fourth fear is the self-doubt. What this self-doubt talks about? This self-doubt talks about that हमें अपने ऊपर ही भरोसा नहीं होता कि हमें कोई पसंद करेगा, हम कुछ कर सकते हैं. If somebody offers you 2 promotions in one shot and says that we are making you now from this level to 3 levels up or 2 levels up, the person will get suddenly, चक्कर आ जाएगा उसको. He'll get into self-doubt. होएगा मेरे से, करूंगा? So the self-doubt is the fourth fear. The remedy is absolute faith in oneself. What is the remedy of all these four fears to alleviate? Is that you should have absolute faith in yourself, that yes, I can do it, through the power of thought, changing belief system. Up till now, whatever you are believing, if those belief systems or those beliefs are scaring you, they are frightening you, then just change those belief systems. You don't need to. Power of thought, changing belief system, self-reliance, depend on yourself to a much larger and greater extent, and then undoing past conditioning. This we have covered in certain videos earlier. Past conditioning also keeps person down, demotivated for a long time, and acquiring necessary skill set, which we are talking about, that what skills one has to acquire to become expert business enhancer. Next, please. Step number 2, we are talking about 8 steps. Create a burning desire and ambition to create a burning desire and ambition and set personal goals for growth. Now, here is a challenge to create a burning desire. What is this burning desire all about? See, unless there is a fire within you, how would you take those critical steps? How would you run those extra miles? This is a big competitive age. So if you are not having a burning desire, you will not put in your best possible efforts. And once you are not putting your best possible efforts, it will be difficult for you to succeed for yourself also and for the organization also. So create a burning desire to so intense that it reaches your subconscious. Now there's an element of faith. We said that second thing was faith. Faith is on you. Faith is on your God, on His Almighty, whosoever you believe in. So create a burning desire so intense that it reaches your subconscious. This is the place from where it is communicated to the infinite intelligence, and the whole universe then plans to fulfill your desire. These are not my words, friends. These are the words, maybe not in exact form, but these words are from Napoleon Hill. He says that any desire, if it is so intense in you that it reaches your subconscious. So basically your subconscious is the place from where the message is communicated to the universe. And then the entire universe conspires to make you achieve those objectives. आपने एक डायलॉग सुना होगा शाहरुख खान की किसी मूवी का, कि किसी चीज को इतनी शिद्दत से चाहो कि सारी कायनात उसे तुमसे मिलाने के लिए पीछे पड़ जाए. So that's the burning desire which we are talking about. Now, set a personal goal. First of all, set yourself a personal goal which is definite and ambitious. Definite goal होना चाहिए. It has to be ambitious goal also. Today, say for example, you have joined a company as a sales representative, or if you are into research and development or analytical field, you have joined as junior scientist analysis or quality scientist or whatever. Now, do you have the kind of goal for yourself that okay, in short term, 5 years from now, I'll become marketing manager, I'll become sales manager, I'll become the senior research scientist, and then maybe 10 years from now, I'll become the head of the entire business of a particular unit, maybe, or a particular laboratory, or particular whichever field we are talking about. So set a personal goal which is definite and ambitious. Gather all the information needed to achieve this goal. Now this is most important. We set a goal. I've been talking to friends of mine who at this stage are planning different business ventures, but surprisingly I come to know normally while talking to them that they have not done proper preparation, how to go about that particular venture which they are thinking about. So you need to have the entire information, make a definite plan to achieve this goal. Then planning is the most important thing. We have communicated earlier in our earlier videos also that if I am given 10 hours to chop a tree, 7 hours I will sharpen my axe. That means planning is most important, and you will plan the whole thing, and then actions you will be taking and implementation, action and implementation simultaneously. Last part, when everything is done, planning is done, then you will take the action and implement the whole thing. Next, please. Now the step number 3 is identify organizational goals. Identify organizational goals and objectives. This is most important. This is not from employee perspective only, from entrepreneur or owners or directors perspective also, stakeholder perspective also, that they should clearly state their goals to their employees. Every employee should know the organizational goals. Subordinate your individual goals into the organizational goals. Now the most important thing is that once you have identified that my organizational goal is this, wealth maximization to this extent, you have to attribute number also. Then profit maximization, you have to attribute number also. Then you should have your goal that okay, 5 years from now I'll become this stage manager and my salary should be this much. Your individual goal, when you will subordinate with the organizational goal, then the things work out, then the synergy works. In both the cases, means whether it is organizational goals, your individual goals, and subordination of your individual goals into organizational goals, in both these cases, growth comes as a common goal which has to be defined in terms of numbers and time frame. Numbers and time frame is most important, my dear friends. It's not so that, okay, one fine day I'll become the chief minister of my state. But when? How? I don't know. I want to become. This is my wish. No, it's not like that. If you are 30 years today and if you want to become chief minister of your state, you have to plan to enter into politics at a lower level. Then gradually grow up. And then you should have a strategy, or you should have a deadline and framework in your mind that, okay, now I'm 30, at the age of 45 I'll become the chief minister of my state, and in what way, taking what steps, everything has to be planned out, right? So in a business environment also, you have to have numbers and time frame very specifically, without which no business can run. Okay, next. The fourth skill, or step number 4, acquiring desired skill set. This is most important slide probably of this presentation, and we will, if you say yes and if you comment us, then definitely we will be working on every point and we will be giving you these special videos on how to create these skill sets. Now, what is that? Impressive individual personality. Your individual personality should be impressive. Now, when we are talking about personality, it's not talking about only your looks, how beautiful you are or how handsome you are. Personality has different traits and characteristics. Now, personality means you are neat and clean, you are well trimmed, you are well dressed, your behavior, outside behavior, spoken behavior, your internal mindset, everything is so beautiful that you leave an impression. So making your personality attractive, impressive is first thing. Effective salesmanship. Now on this second point, there are volumes which have been written. How to become a best salesperson, how to achieve maximum sales and all that. But then yes, effective salesmanship. Sales is another thing. Salesmanship is another thing. Like normally we used to ask people that what is salesmanship? Now salesmanship, I'll give you one example which you may have heard a number of times earlier before, that there was a village near a jungle sort of a thing. There a shoe manufacturing company sends a salesman to find out whether there is a scope to sell the company products, that is shoes, in that village. The salesman goes and comes back and reports to the boss that, boss, there is no scope of shoes there. Boss says, why? So the salesman says, because nobody wears shoes there. Boss is not very happy. He sends another salesman to the same village and with the same task, that find out whether we can sell our shoes over there. And the second salesman also goes and he comes back very excited, very enthusiastic and says, boss, we can sell our shoes like anything over there. Boss says, why? And the next salesman says, because nobody wears shoes out there. So if you get them into the habit of wearing shoes, the market is empty. You can sell like anything. So effective salesmanship, those traits of salesmanship who sees opportunity in every interaction, that whether I can make my product sell or not. Then strong leadership. We'll come to these individual topics later on, but strong leadership is applicable to those guys under whom there is a team which is working. So how to take the best output from the team is another most important thing. Excellent communication. Now you are seeing the points, just don't see them as points only. Just see that excellent communication is talking about, can you say, do you have excellent communication skill? All of us are lacking. There's always a chance of improvement in marketing language, what we talk about. There's always a chance of improvement. So, do you have excellent communication? You know what communication in itself consists of. It's your verbal speech, your vocabulary that you're using, your gesture, your posture, your eye contact, your everything that comes under communication, the subject matter on which you're talking. So the point is, excellent communication is another point. Effective presentation skills. When you are making a presentation to your buyers, your presentation skills also leave a lasting impression. So your effective presentation skills. Excellent negotiation. Your negotiation skill. Are you able to convince your buyers that your product is the best and why it should be bought, because it offers the value for money? Because so many things that you can take into negotiation. Team building. Team building once again applies to the managerial post people, that can you make a wonderful team under you? Can you become a very good boss? Effective business enhancer. Expert business enhancer boss. Not the boss who is liked the most. It's not a popularity-centric leadership. It is the performance-centric leadership which works. And then interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills means when I'm dealing with you, you're dealing with me, I'm dealing with external people. And then that skill of dealing with many people from different facets, those skills have to be wonderful. Next, please. You must have heard this term many times, know your customer, KYC. In our presentation from a business enterprise point of view, know your customer means your buyers, your customers, who are the key decision makers to buy your products. What you should know about customer profiling is of utmost importance. Know his personality and behavior, know his beliefs and attitudes, know his hobbies, likes and dislikes, know his interests. So all these things, as much as possible, you should know about your customer, right? Have you seen these political parties? By the way, this is a time of election nowadays. Have you seen these political parties that how effectively, beautifully, मारामारी करके वो लोग इसमें ही लगे रहते हैं? They are always into this, that which class, which caste, which religion, which segment of the society give them vote, and which segment of the society give vote to the opposition, and then trying to break this set, that set and all that. So what is most important is that if you know your customer fully, like how his interest, I know I can give you one example, wonderful example. I had a customer who was known for not speaking to anyone. Anyone means any company wala, company fellow, whether it is a boss or it is a frontline salesperson. And people told me when we are making a joint visit along with my colleague to that customer, and people told me that, sir, he doesn't respond much. You don't ask too many questions from him. I said, okay, fine. I went there. While we were discussing, he was just keeping mum. And then I just saw somehow that there was a postcard hang, what you call it, postcard, there's a multiple postcard, you know, it was like one postcard after one, it was like, you know, postcard set. And that postcard set had beautiful pictures of Sikkim. And I simply said, besides any product, anything, I said, I've been to Sikkim many times. So I said, sir, this is Sikkim, no? And then he started, and you won't believe that he talked to me for about half an hour. Then we talked about product also. We talked about our purpose also. So you need to know your customer. A proper CRM. CRM means customer relationship management. In place can record all this information while providing efficient services. We also have to service our customers without attaching personal ego in the process. Customer is the king. Now, one very important thing is that in profession, while you are working, your personal ego does not carry any weight. It's insignificant. Don't take anything in person. Take everything as process of that organization. Because if you are taking it in person as your respect or as your disrespect, because the customer is not speaking a single word and you're just you have just gone to make a visit to him. He kept you waiting for half an hour and is not speaking a single word. So don't let your ego come in between in your professional journey. Next, please. Now comes the step number 6. We talked about 8 steps. Take 100% responsibility and feel accountable for the business. This is one particular thing where I have seen even the very senior people, very talented people who have contributed very significantly to the organization growth. Most of them or many of them, they reach that stage by implementing the other parameters. But when it comes to taking accountability and responsibility, simply pass the buck, right? So 100% responsibility and feel accountable for the business, because the owner, your MD, your CEO, he wants you to deliver in terms of wealth, in terms of profit, in terms of higher sales. And if you are not willing to take 100% responsibility, you are losing your credibility sometime. But if you are taking 100% responsibility, then everything is gone. Things will be in your control. Business growth is impossible without taking complete responsibility and accountability. With responsibility comes tremendous authority. Boss, you are enjoying authority. You are a boss. You are enjoying authority. You can scold your subordinates. You can ask difficult questions to them. You can fire them. You can shout at them for non-performance, of course. But then if you have got that authority to do that, you have got a responsibility also. And what is that responsibility? Freedom to operate, which fuels individuals and organizational growth. It's very clear. Next, please. Now you come to the step number 7. Assume leadership role. You may not be leader, but assume leadership role. You may be the frontline seller, but when in group meetings, your bosses or anybody asks you that, okay dear, suggest me something, how we can achieve this target. There, if you are able to assume that leadership leadership role. So from there, the seeds of your becoming leader are sown, right? Lead from the front. If you are already a leader, then lead from the front, take initiative, get along with people, work in a team and build team, be transparent in your dealings, be self-motivated and motivate others. Become a coach, a mentor, and a trainer. Give credit and appreciate others. Be always willing to work beyond the call of duty and walk the extra mile. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this and then just see that how many of these things are fitting in your kind of a personality, a paradigm shift that we are talking about that you have to bring in to inculcate the kind of, re-engineering process within you. Next, please. Once you have taken all these 7 steps, the 8th step, the most important step is think big and aim high. Always think big, dream big and aim high. If you think you can win. Once you have achieved success, there is a reason to rejoice, have fun, celebrate with your team. So always think big and aim high. Now I'm going to give you some examples which will further enlighten you with regards to whatever up till now I have covered in this presentation. Next, please. Some glittering success stories. One, just giving you some examples. He did not speak until he was 4 years old. Didn't read until he was 7 years old. His teacher described him as mentally slow, unsociable, and adrift forever in foolish dreams. Next. He was the great Albert Einstein. Next. Example number 2. This group were turned down by 10 recording companies before Capitol took them as clients. They kept on knocking on doors until the right one had opened. Next. They were the Beatles group. Some glittering success stories. Third. Before he was elected to the presidency, he lost 9 public elections, declared bankrupt twice, and weathered a nervous breakdown and faced the death of fiance. He said, "You can't fail unless you quit." After all this, he didn't quit. Next. He was Abraham Lincoln, the President of United States of America, the most powerful person on this earth. Now, yet another story, 4th story. He played bellboy in the first Columbia picture. Studio executive told him, "You aren't got it, kid," it being star quality. He was just a bellboy and the studio executive told him, "You are good for nothing. You don't have that material to become a star." Harrison Ford became a famous Hollywood star. Success story 5. He tried for a show called Ted Mac Amateur Hour, but failed. Nobody remember the winner of that show, but this man from Tennessee is remembered. He was Elvis Presley. He tried 2000 different materials in search of a filament for light bulb. When it worked out, his assistant complained, "All our work is in vain." He said, "We have come to know that there are 2000 elements which we cannot use to make a good bulb." He was Thomas Alva Edison. Success story 7. He was fired by a newspaper editor for lack of ideas. He also went bankrupt several times before he built Disneyland. He was Walt Disney. Now, out of all these examples, what is the learning derived? We come to it. Don't follow the path created by others. Rather, create your own path and leave a trail behind, like all these big, famous, rich, powerful people did, in whom we have shown in the example. So, don't follow the path created by others, but create your own path and leave a trail behind. Only those are remembered who thought that they can win despite all the odds and adversity and stayed focused. They never quit. They created fortunes for them, and they created fortunes for the business organizations that they work for. Next. Let's make the beginning. Friends, here we conclude this particular presentation. At Bugle Life, our consistent, continuous motive is to promote growth, learning, and empowerment. In that series, we have started these presentations for the benefit of all the working employees. It's not that only in a commercial sales organizations these skills are required. These skills are required everywhere. In any and every job, whomsoever you are working with the government, you are working with semi-government organizations, you are working with PSUs, you are working with private companies, anywhere you are working, there are only 2 aspects. One is the company that you are working for, one is you yourself. If you yourself being an entrepreneur, you are both of them. You are the owner also, the person also, the company also, and you are the employee also. So the most important thing is that this knowledge has to be employed in such a way for re-engineering yourself, for the growth, for meeting the goals, for achieving the success for yourself and for your organizations. If you like this video, then please, it is my humble request to you all that you all please subscribe it, share it, and also comment us. Let us know that if you want the similar kind of videos on various other topics, other characteristics which are mentioned here in this video and other videos as well. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much, friends, for being with me today. This stage here in this presentation, I close it now. See you next time. Thank you. Thank you so much.